Seated next to me, we have defensive coordinator Charles Kelly. Next to Coach Kelly, we have linebacker Terrence Smith. Terrence is a junior from Decatur, Georgia, and is looking forward to returning to action after missing the ACC championship game due to injury. Here in the, I'm going to butcher that, Bednarik Award? We're just going to go past that. Defensive Player of the Week and ACC Linebacker of the Week with a spectacular game against Notre Dame with 11 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, and a sack. He set a career high for tackles in the win against Clemson with 13. Next to Terrence, we have defensive back Tyler Hunter. Tyler is a junior from Valdosta, Georgia, was the fifth leading tackler on the team with 60 after sitting out the 2013 season with an injury. He twice set a career best for tackles in a game in 2014 with 10, the last coming against North Carolina State. Hunter also had a fumble recovery versus Miami. We're going to open up the floor for questions. Please state your name along with your media outlet, and we will pass along the mics to you. We'll start back there on the right.
Hey, this question's for Coach Kelly. Joe Hellriegel, WCTV. Whenever you look at Oregon's offense, do you think it's the most balanced offense you guys have seen? And is it intimidating or scary for you guys at all?
Well, the one thing that they make you do, I think, out of all the teams that we've played, they probably make you defend more of the field. That's the one thing they do. So I say on that side of it, they are very balanced. I think, just watching their offense as the year has gone on, watching all the games, you can tell they have a very good plan of what they want to do. They know where they want to attack, and they'll take what you give them. I think they've shown that they can be very patient too. So we've got a big challenge in front of us, but I do think they're very balanced and they're very good at what they do.
We'll go over there on the left.
Coach Kelly, LaneHurtSeminoles.com. The defense has done a great job in the second half this year of shutting down teams. What is it about this team's ability to make adjustments at halftime?
Well, the first thing I'll say about our players is one of the greatest traits that you can have as a person is to persevere. And it hasn't always been easy. And over the last 2 years, we've preached to our guys, we play no matter what the score is. And, last year, Terrence and Tyler can both tell you it was a little bit different. We were ahead a lot of times. Sometimes that's harder to do, is to keep playing when you're ahead like that. This year we've had some situations where we didn't play as good in the first half, but I think it all goes back to these guys. They don't panic. And, when you coach people like that, I think our team, I think Coach Fisher has developed and recruited guys of not only athletic ability but of character. And I think when you combine both of those, these guys, they don't panic. And you can look at it, you can look in their eyes on the sideline. No matter what the situation is, Coach, let's go. We'll get this thing done. And it's just been a pleasure to work with them.
Question up here on the right.
Andrea Adelson, ESPN.com. Charles, what's been the biggest adjustment or challenge for you now in your first year as a defensive coordinator?
Well, I get asked that a lot. I think the biggest thing is understanding, we lost 5-6 guys last year that were great players. And we had some great players coming back. But what you have to do is find, what your niche is and what we do good, what we have to correct. I think early in the year, the biggest challenge for us, I think our guys will tell you, was giving up explosive plays. We would play consistent in spots, then an explosive play would get us out of whack. So I think as the year has gone on, we've gotten better at that. But that was one of the challenges early in the year. I think Terrence will tell you our linebacking core developed. I think he and Reggie and Matthew Thomas, all these guys, I think they've come along. I think you've seen them get better and better every week. In the secondary, Tyler, we were still relatively young. We've got some talent, but I think those guys just they got more comfortable playing with each other, and it's been fun to watch them develop.
Stephen Alexander, Portland Tribune. Coach, can you talk about your willingness to go man-to-man coverage, and what is it about the athletes in the secondary that allows that to be successful?
Well, the one thing that, again, I go back to Coach Fisher and what he's done, the job he's done recruiting here. We believe that on defense, your limitations are set based on what you can do in the secondary as far as being able to cover man-to-man. So that's one of the things that, that has been done over the years since Coach Fisher's taken over, is just an effort to be able to recruit the guys that can do that. There's no doubt that it allows you to do more defensively, when you feel comfortable locking those guys up. And I'm sure Terrence will tell you too, everybody assumes that it's always the secondary, but when you tie guys up man-to-man, you got to have linebackers that can cover man-to-man also. So, we feel like it gives us a little bit more variations, gives us a little more things that we can go to when we can lock those guys up man-to-man. The one thing I'll say too, when those guys are in man-to-man coverage, a lot of times they're not making the interceptions. Sometimes you don't even hear their name called. I tell them when that's happening, you're playing good. So, a lot of times you don't see in a play if a guy's, got a guy covered, quarterback doesn't go to him, then you never hear about that.
You have a question on the left?
Gene Williams, warchant.com. Coach Kelly, what are the biggest challenges of going up against an offense that is so up-tempo, gets snaps off within 20 seconds in between plays?
I think the number one challenge is it's hard to replicate that in practice. The speed of it is something that, we try, and our scout team has done an unbelievable job. I think John Franklin has probably given us as good a picture as we could ask for. But I think the speed of it, the quickness in which it comes at you, being able to get lined up, being able to make the adjustments depending on what formation or, maybe it's, what defense we have called the adjustments, we have to do that. Those two things present the biggest challenge. And then you put I feel like they're probably as balanced in their 11 players on offense as anybody we play, with, the quarterback that can do everything that you want a quarterback to do. And I think the next challenge for us, he does such a good job at everything, being able to run, but at the same time, buying time in the pocket, being able to see downfield, being able to find guys downfield. I just think his development, over the last couple of years has just been incredible. So there are many challenges, but I think the biggest challenge, for the up-tempo is just replicating it in practice.
Question from Bonnie?
Bonnie Bernstein, Campus Insiders. Coach, your defense probably as healthy as it's been all season, and you've got your senior leadership back at the D-tackle position. Can you talk about having Eddie and Niles Lawrence Stample back from that pec injury, how critical that's going to be about against this particular type of offense?
Well, I definitely think, we always talk about it. When you build a defense, you build it from, you've got to be strong up the middle. And, definitely having Eddie and Niles back, that's a big plus. Anytime you have to move people, that creates a challenge. And and not only just them as players, but I just think the confidence that it gives our other players on defense. Again, leadership is such a big thing. We talk about it, all the time. People do what you do. They don't do what you say. So, and when they see, other guys playing, and they're playing at a high level, guys tend to follow that. So it is a big plus for us, and glad these guys are back healthy. Definitely. I mean, anytime you play an up-tempo team, and in today's football, anyway, I mean, the number of plays you play in a game is up compared to what it was, a few years ago. So anytime you have guys that can, play, 20, 25 snaps in a game and give you productive snaps, that definitely helps with the number of plays. You play a team like Oregon, they're going to create play. They're going to create more plays. That's one of the things that they try to do on offense. When you hear them talk and you watch them play, they always talk about tempo, getting more plays. So the more depth we have, definitely the better off we'll be.
We have a question in the back.
Adrian Beecher with theskyboat.com. This is for Coach Kelly. Coach, there's been a lot of talk this week about people saying that they think that Oregon is a finesse team or a, quote, soft team. But yesterday, Coach Fisher said he doesn't see that at all. He sees them as a physical team. Could I just get your thoughts on that, Coach?
People assume because you spread the field out that you're finesse. That's not true. I mean, they run the football as good as anybody. I mean, you watch, their scheme runs that they have. I mean, they move people. To me, finesse is just throwing the ball in the perimeter all the time. But they're good at running the power. All right, they're when they run their zone read, I mean they're moving people. So that's not finesse. You can't assume just because people spread you out that they're finesse. I remember going into the national championship game last year. The same thing was said about Auburn. That they were finesse because they were fast or spread, fast up tempo, but they were as good at running the football in the A gaps or in between the tackles as anybody. Oregon's the same way. They can. I think the thing that has made them better, not over just this year, but over the last couple of years, is that they've kind of created that culture, and they are more physical, and it is more of a power game. They can do both. They can spread you out, again, throw the ball in the perimeter, get you on the edges, but at the same time, if you're playing that, they're physical enough, and they can knock you off the ball to create seams in between the tackles.
Take two more questions, and then we'll do breakouts on the right up there.
Jordan Kent with Comcast Sportsnet. Coach, we'll start with you and love to get the players' thoughts on this. What do you respect the most about Oregon, and what are you telling this team to prepare for?
Well, definitely like I said earlier, we've got to be ready for up-tempo. The speed at which it's going to happen, we've got to be ready for that. Of course, they've had, more time to prepare for this game, so I'm sure that they've got some wrinkles that we haven't seen before. That's, to me, and I think our guys will agree with this, when we concentrate on what we do and know what we do and play by the rules of what we have in, I think we can adjust to those things. I think being able to adjust, as the series is going on, that's when, and that's the other thing that I feel comfortable with our players is, I trust these guys. And I'll ask, because the one thing between a coach and a player is having that trust. When I ask them a question, I know I'm getting a truthful answer about what's going on. How's this guy blocking you? How's he running this route? And for them to be able to adjust to that and understand what we're trying to do, I think that's going to be huge in the game.
Take the last question on the left there.
Lane Hurt, Seminoles.com again. For Terrence and Tyler, Oregon's a team that has gone for it on fourth down 24 times this season. What kind of pressure does that put on the defense, having to defend that extra down sometimes on a consistent basis?
I mean, when you have to defend a 4-down team, it just means that you have to make plays. You're not off the field and 3 and out, so you got to make that extra play. And I mean, that's really all it adds to it.
I believe the biggest challenge is just winning first and second down and just getting them in 3rd and long. And if they decide to go for it on 4th down, just having to win 4th down too. So I'll just take it as an opportunity.